So they're programming money with HBAR and they're legislating money with HBAR. And the point of that is to collect the yields on the old system and hopefully make faster payments with the new system. Today I'm going to be showing you how Wyoming just put a stablecoin on HBAR. They evaluated 28 blockchains but chose HBAR. What this means for HBAR and schools, how they're collecting the interest, and how I think other districts will follow, and how are these assets actually tokenized. I'm going to show you a process with HBAR, XRP, and XLM and XCC, how they take treasury bills and these stablecoins and basically create a new currency. Stay tuned. Hedera, HBAR, selected for Wyoming's Frontier stable token, and this is a new currency that they issued on the HBAR blockchain. It is the first U.S. state-issued stable token. So states are creating their own tokens on the HBAR blockchain. So Wyoming's Stable Token Commission, they're the ones who issued this new currency called FRNT, and it's backed by the state of Wyoming. And so they basically have all the legislation and the legal, all the board meetings that they had with it, but they provided a test net. And so you can issue these test FRNT to work with the district. I'm going to show you later in the video how some of this is going to be used for the school district, but essentially, if you want to work with the state of Wyoming and you want to get paid, they're going to probably want you to start receiving this type of stablecoin, but the network is not set up. And so they're providing this test net, this basically sandbox for other companies could come in and say, hey, I'd rather you get paid on some of these networks than the regular issued dollar, because they're getting, in my opinion, a higher interest rate by issuing their own stable token. So I think this is fascinating, and it sets a precedence for the entire world, because imagine a local government going, hey, I can create a currency and potentially make money off of that new currency and set up the entire network for the rest of my contractors and potentially other governments or other states. They have a YouTube channel talking about the commission, so we can create a token, but let me show you why they did it. Each token, the FRNT token that's minted by Wyoming, should be backed by at least $1 in the old system, backed by the U.S. Treasuries. So it's government issued, but instead of paying companies like Circle or Tether to get the interest, the state of Wyoming gets the interest. So there's some benefits to creating your own token. You get paid in the interest, and also you get to control the supply. You can make money in both systems, on the old and the new. And so the benefit of creating your coin outweighs a lot of the risk, in my opinion, but the hard part is adoption. But if you have a state backing you, it's a no problem. So FRNT is minted. Franklin Templeton, that's the company that helps them. They manage the reserves and basically helps them figure out how much one-to-one they need. And yeah, then they earn 3.5% from the treasury bills, and the interest gets paid to the school foundation. So the more that you use this new token, the more that the schools get funded. Because remember, every time they create a token, they get paid on the interest, and potentially they can make up to $10 million a year, and they can give that to the schools. And so instead of using Circle to help you create that, why don't I just create my own? And I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of this. The only difference is HBAR is the rails, XRP is the rails, XCC is the rails, XLM is the rails, and you can create subset, basically new coins, new currency, and use the rails as your infrastructure. And contractors are going to get paid. You can use Visa payments, and then hopefully emergency relief and payroll. But they're working with these agencies and contractors to set up the network. Remember, the hard part is adoption. So if you can figure out the fastest way for them to get paid, they're going to be happy. But really, the benefit is they can hold cash and basically create that token and give it to other folks. So real world assets are currency on these networks. And so what the name of the game is, create a currency, create these tokens on HBAR, XRP, XLM, XCC. And how they're doing it, I'm going to show you. So for example, in my last video, I said we had silver, but Wyoming's doing it with treasury bills, which represents the dollar. But let's say we had $1 million on here. We have silver as our backed asset. We select HBAR. We then go to tokenization. And all this is they go to the docs and they say, hey, HBAR, how do I create a token? So they're creating tokens. These tokens can be made up, but for example, FRNT, they created it out of thin air, and they need companies to help them verify that these tokens are legitimate. So they start the tokenization process, asset verification. So you need a company to come in and say, hey, the actual silver is behind that token. The actual treasury bill is behind that token. So therefore it is. They then use the code that I showed you on the website. It deploys it. It creates that token, FRNT, the silver token, T silver, and then compliance and know your customer. Basically, hopefully they'll use ERC 3643, which has a know your customer requirement, and then they distribute it to everybody. But remember, you need a company to come in and say, these folks have the reserves on hand so that the global market can accept it. So they're programming money with HBAR and they're legislating money with HBAR. And the point of that is to collect the yields on the old system and hopefully make faster payments with the new system. But remember, the infrastructure is not there. And so they have to market it. They have to talk about it on YouTube and say, hey, we're doing this, because the more folks that use this, the more money that they could potentially make, and it will go to the schools.